All right. Well, welcome all to our October Tech for Palestine community call. Thanks so much for joining. I know people are still getting logged in. So we will give folks a couple of minutes to get situated and sorted. But I'll go ahead and just tee off the call really quickly. Welcome. This is a community call we host for all of our T4P members every month. If you are joining us for the first time, please let us know in the chat. We'd love to welcome you and thank you for joining. If you are a regular here, we appreciate that as well. And yeah, we get people dialing in from all over the world. It'd be fun if you're comfortable. Let us know where you're dialing in from. I'm calling in from Austin, Texas. I know we have speakers on the phone that will be presenting to you, coming from France, the Netherlands, where else? We have Virginia, we have Dubai, and so we do have a host of folks from all over. Hopefully everyone can hear me well. If you're having issues with the audio or issues with anything at any point, please make sure to drop those notes in the chat. We have people monitoring the chat, so if questions come up, please feel free to drop those questions in the chat and we'll make sure we get to them. All right, so with that, let me quickly go through our agenda for today. We will have a few speakers. Paul will be talking about just the latest and greatest in tech news. Paul Bigger, for those that don't know, is the founder and the mastermind behind Tech for Palestine. Avzal, who heads up marketing, will be telling us just the latest marketing happenings. And definitely lots happening, both on the latest and greatest tech news and with some of the cool stuff happening across all of our projects in marketing. We'll get an update from Tom, who runs engineering for us. Tom will tell us about ArabCon. He was just there and was speaking and has some cool updates for us. Mohanad will give us the latest and greatest on the incubator projects and highlight some of the new ones. We'll talk about some of the new ones. Ilsa will talk to us about Goldfinch, one of our new incubator projects, and so super excited to welcome her and have her share more. And I'll do my usual and talk about the volunteering needs we have. And so with that, I am going to hand it to Avzal, who will give us an update on marketing. Avzal?
Great. So, hey all, happy to be here again. I'm Afzal, part of the marketing team of Tech for Palestine, and we have a lot of topics to discuss, so let me start straight away. As mentioned in the previous community call, we recently started a new podcast series together with Palestine Deep Dive, a very popular channel on YouTube. And if you missed the first one, that was a chat between Paul, our own Paul Bigar, and Hussam Nasser from No Azure for Apartheid. It's a great session to watch if you want to know everything about Microsoft and their complicity. But last month, so it's September, we released another session, another chat between Paul, and this time it was, if I recall correctly, his name is Eric Sipe, a national organizer at Hamla. And Hamla is, if I pronounce it correctly, is the Arab Center for the Advancement of Social Media. So in this session, they basically discussed big tech complicity in general, and also the digital siege and censorship on big platforms such as Meta, Google, and PayPal. The topic about tech complicity or tech's involvement in everything what is happening right now, it's a huge topic. But if you want to catch up on everything in general, then this is a great session to watch. You just need 1 hour, and then you are up to speed. So it's on YouTube. Search for Palestine Deep Dive. And the next session will also be published soon. And I was allowed to reveal a bit about it. It's a session with the founder of Boycat. So stay tuned for that one because it's very interesting. And then another topic from time to time, some organizations, they ask us to endorse their initiatives like projects or campaigns, sometimes even events. And this time it was ADC National. They did a call on soccer federations in several European countries to basically boycott the Israeli national team and also the regional Israeli football clubs. And they also did a call on banning the Israeli players from participating in domestic competitions. So it's online. You can search for it on ADC National, and we also shared it. So you can still share this call with your friends and own network. Then some other news that I would like to share with you. I mean, it's a celebration that I did as someone who works in marketing. We get new followers on Instagram every day, but if you get a notification if that Miss Rachel clicks on follow, it's worth a celebration. To be honest, I don't know a lot about her. As far as I know, she's doing TV shows for very little kids in the US. But I think the moment when she started to speak up about Palestine, um, there were people, powerful people in the US who tried to silence her, and that's I think when she became world famous. So I think it's very cool to have her among our followers at Tech for Palestine. And then on the TikTok video, I think that's also a famous face, Guy Christensen, a great influencer, pro-Palestine influencer. And the reason why we shared this is because he is wearing a jacket of revolutionized brands, which is designed also by someone from the Tech for Palestine community. So yeah, I thought that's worth to share and worth a celebration. And by the way, I just spoke about followers on Instagram, and of course we do get new followers on Instagram every day, and we really love our followers there. But we love our followers on Upscroll even more. So if you're on Upscroll, make sure you follow us there. And if you're not there, then it's time to create an account because it's much better than Instagram. Now I would like to talk about Azza. And she basically asked me to skip this part to save us some time. But I thought it's important to also spend some time on this one. So let me first explain what Apricot is. If this is the first time that you hear about Apricot, Apricot is one of our projects helping people, talent from Palestine and basically the Middle East, North Africa region to find jobs. They are growing fast, and the founder even launched a new company, Principled. So it was time for some help. He needed a co-founder and executive director, and I was not surprised that it was Azza because sometimes you meet those people who are good at everything, and she's like that. She's good at everything, and I think she's going to do a great job there. The other reason why I thought it's important to share this one is because we often talk about tech ecosystems or more ethical ecosystems of entrepreneurs. And the definition of an ecosystem is that it's not only a community, but it's like different entities interacting and supporting each other to stay functional. And that's exactly what's happening here. Basically, someone from the Tech for Palestine core team joining one of the projects as co-founder to enable further growth. And yeah, I thought that's also worth to share with you. Back to you, Azza.
Thank you. I had to go off camera. I knew I was going to be embarrassed, but thank you. It really is an honor. All right. So moving on, we're going to have Tom. Tom, are you here? Talk about ArabCon. How exciting.
Great. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yes. So I was fortunate enough to be invited to speak at ArabCon on behalf of Tech for Palestine this year. It was held in Dearborn, Michigan in the US, which is coincidentally the city I was born in. So I went there to speak, and I decided to actually attend the entire conference, and it went from Thursday night till Sunday. And it was just a really extraordinary conference. Thursday night, we had a screening of the film The Encampments, which was amazing. I had seen it before, but not in a theater, so and certainly not with the producers and Mahmoud Khalil in the room. So that was fun. There was like a Q&A after that. The following day, and Saturday and Sunday, just panel after panel after panel, just really amazing content. They had a legal panel, an education panel. They did live tapings of Dr. Ed Hassan's Mood podcast, in which he interviewed the Palestinian singer or Jordanian singer Dana Salah. That was great. There was a taping of the Zateo show We're Not Kidding with Mehdi Hassan and Bassem Youssef. There was an artist panel, a direct action panel, a political policy panel, and Tariq Habash was there, who resigned from the Department of Education in the Biden administration in protest to the genocide, and who started a new policy lobbying organization with Josh Paul. There was a panel on sports washing, on psychological warfare of Zionism. There was a bearing witness panel with Hani Al-Madoun and Anthony Aguilar being interviewed by or moderated by Mara Cronenfeld, executive director of UNRWA USA. So that was really powerful one. I wrote a long LinkedIn post about that if anybody wants to dig that up. And there was a panel about indie media in which Breakthrough News was the focus. And Breakthrough News actually live streamed the entire event. That was pretty much the only media coverage that it got. But if you go to the Breakthrough News YouTube site, you can find the live stream recordings of the entire event, including the panel that I spoke on, which was Palestine versus the algorithm. And I was joined by Issam Hijazi, who created Upscrolled, and it was moderated by Harris. I can't remember Harris's last name at the moment, but he's with the Muslim Public Affairs Council in Washington, D.C. So all in all, it was a really, really incredible time. I met a lot of amazing people. There were influencers there. There were, big names, small names, activists, educators. It was just a really good time and highly motivating. So definitely recommend that everybody watch the recordings. Oh, and I wrote a personal Substack post. If anybody wants to ping me about my personal Substack, I'll tell you where it is, and you can go there and you can read all about ArabCon.
Wow,
Thanks.
awesome. How cool that you get to attend. Was this your first one, Tom? Or
Yes, yeah. No, it was my first one, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. I wonder if others were able to attend. It sounds like we may be having some audio issues on Discord. I know we're looking into it. Sorry, you probably can't hear this advice, but maybe we try to log folks out and back in, or join our live streaming in some of the other places. Maybe we could also potentially drop the links to where we're also streaming live as a backup. All right. And yeah, if you had a chance to attend ArabCom, drop that in the chat. We'd love to hear. So with that, Paul, lots happening in the tech news. It's like late breaking news every day. I will pass it on to you to share.
Thanks a million, Azza. Yeah, it's been a wild week, and I think it points a lot to significant changes in the power of Israel and in the support for Palestine across the tech industry. So the first one of them was from Microsoft. So Microsoft this week blocked Israel's use, or blocked Unit 8200's use of Azure, which is their cloud platform, in order to prevent Unit 8200 from doing mass surveillance on Palestinians. Now, like many of these things, this is small in practice. It's small because Unit 8200 immediately moved over to what is believed to be AWS, Amazon Web Services. It's small because it was only Unit 8200 in this particular way. It's small because it was only The Guardian that did this research that enabled Microsoft to do it, because Microsoft doesn't do research on its own customers. But it's massively significant because this is the first time that anyone has done anything like this. It's the first, no Azure for Apartheid, who are worker activists against Microsoft's involvement in the genocide and in the apartheid, describe this as the first domino to fall. And I think that's a really good phrasing of it. Up until now, Israel has never lost a contract. With any big tech company. The big tech companies have been falling over themselves to do it, and it makes sense that it was Microsoft, partially because the workers, No Azure for Apartheid, have done an incredible job, but also because Microsoft isn't specifically or doesn't specifically have Zionist leadership in the way that Google or some of the others do. So it's really a significant move forward. And all of these things, it's an inch every time. We're going to have to fight for every inch, but this was a significant inch. Now, another significant thing that's in the news at the moment is that TikTok, or the US government, is finalizing the last steps of forcing TikTok to divest. And who they're divesting it to is renowned Zionist Larry Ellison, CEO of Oracle. And this is a really interesting story because it demonstrates to all of America how the Zionist lobby works and what they do and the lengths that they will go to control the narrative for Americans. So this is 100% a free speech issue. There's many documents, and this article that we're linking from TubeFilter has a bunch of good context. There's another link that I've been reading on responsible statecraft, which we are not sharing, but maybe we can find it. That goes into a lot more detail. But this story sort of gets more and more information by the day. There's a huge free speech angle. It's really something that the right wing has picked up. Typically it's the left that's talking about Palestine, and as we know, the right wing has come in hard on this, and now they're sort of wondering, how did Israel make this happen, and how is it that Zionists are able to control so much of this? And this was a really, really egregious thing. As we can see in the quote here, there was a bunch of people or a bunch of Congress were doing it in an anti-China perspective, but it was really when AIPAC and the Israel lobby got into it. And there's videos of ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt talking about how it's really about controlling what Gen Z sees and hears. So this is just like one of the most significant things, and the fact that it was forced to be sold off to a hardcore Zionist like Larry Ellison matters. The last one that is really interesting to me is Vercel. So Vercel is a platform that's used by a lot of developers, and it's specifically in the website hosting space. And it's been a really popular platform. People have liked it. I'm not sure that I've ever used it, but I've been certainly very, very aware of it. And the guy on the right that you see in this image is Guillermo Rauch, who is the creator of Vercel. And he posted this himself on Twitter yesterday. No investigative journalist found this photo of him with a war criminal. He posted it himself. He still hasn't taken it down. I checked it a couple of minutes ago. And the reason that this is significant is because I have seen nothing on Twitter, Blue Sky, or Mastodon except this for a full day at this point. everybody is talking about it. And everybody who has not spoken up for Palestine, who's been afraid of speaking up for Palestine, has come out to say, oh, we're canceling Vercel. How could Vercel do this? This is terrible. I'm leaving Vercel. Employees are quitting Vercel. And it really feels like there's a lot of this sort of pent-up rage at what Israel has been doing that that really got pushed against Vercel for Guillermo taking this photo with Netanyahu, which I think he took at the start of the week or at the end of last week. So I think what this is really showing is the movement is opening the potential for speaking up in tech, which has been really repressed for about 2 years. Everyone is now seeing that everyone else in tech is also angry about this. And I think that a lot of people are seeing each other and are seeing that people speaking up about, everyone knows that people who are complaining about Roush are complaining about Netanyahu, they're complaining about Israel, they're complaining about the genocide, they're complaining about the apartheid. So it's something that is incredibly clear, and I think is going to be a significant shift in the narrative in the tech industry. So thanks a million, Guillermo.
Yeah, pretty disappointing. Anyways, thank you for those updates, Paul. And sorry for those of you on Discord. It sounds like there may have been some echoing on Paul's section, which is unfortunate because it was really good and important information. Paul, just double check you're on deafen and mute just in case. But yeah, we're recording these, so we'll absolutely send out the recording. In case you missed it, you can go back and listen. They were great summaries and great updates of what's happening. With that, Mohammed, I will pass it on to you, sir, for some incubator updates.
Hello. Hope you can hear me and see me all right.
Yeah, great.
Thank you, Azza. So happy to be on another community call. And the heart of Tech for Palestine is our incubator and the projects that hopefully change the narrative, change the reality for all of us. That's what it's all about. So for those of you joining us for the first time, what is the T4P incubator? It is a project incubator that provides you with support, whether it's support for your project vision, whether it's providing you with mentorship, giving you access to SMEs. You might be producing your product, your very first product. This is the very first project. We have a lot of those. And our project founders tend to appreciate access to experts who have done this before. As part of this expertise sharing, we have our office hours, which run 6 times a week. So it works for all time zones. And you have access to the other services of Tech for Palestine, which is marketing. You can get branded as a T4P project, and you can also benefit from the T4P social media channel. So it gives you a lot more reach and a lot more access to a wider audience through the already established presence of T4P. So there's also grants that have been added recently. This is to get things going, bootstrapping phase, whether it's for your infrastructure spend, whether for buying some licenses and tools. It's for this very first inception phase. So that's the incubator. If you think you have an idea that helps Palestine, helps the Palestinians, changes the narrative, please go to the T4P website and apply. Now, I'll tell you about the new projects that we have onboarded this month. We have 5 of those, starting with Baladi. Baladi is an Arabic word. I was just thinking about this yesterday. I think it's the same in all Arab dialects. It's like a very popular, standardized Arabic word, which means locally produced and fresh at the same time. Think tomatoes, eggs, milk that you buy directly from a farmer, that you're going to get from a souq or a family store. That's what Baladi means. So it's a very descriptive but simple name. The founder essentially wants to create a farmers market online, providing the platform for farmers, as well as removing the middlemen from the supply chain, while also offering the consumers easy access to fresh and healthy products. Obviously, in agri and farmers, the local producers will usually suffer from middlemen who make 50% of the revenue as margins and fees and so on. So this is a win-win situation for the consumers, for the farmers, and from every angle you look at this project, there is positive impact, whether it's allowing communities to achieve self-reliance, whether it's empowering the local farmers and business owners, whether it's supporting healthier lifestyles and moving away from, corporate soulless boxed food that we're all forced to consume. Yeah. And this is just the one stop of my head. Where's the Palestine angle? Yeah, there has to be a Palestine angle. The founder themselves is a Palestinian, first of all. And secondly, they want to launch in Palestine as the first market that they bring this product to. And from there, this is a product that expands very easily, applies very easily to other Arab countries, to North African countries, and into West Asia as well. So there is very promising scalability, I would say. Maybe one or a couple of more points on this project. The founder has such an inspiring backstory. So he grew up in Palestine and he watched his own dad walk from house to house carrying baskets of eggs and fresh milk that he himself, his mom, his family worked hard at producing. And they often couldn't find buyers, but thanks to those who did buy, his family was able to raise 6 kids and to carry on. Now, the founder is an experienced software engineer that works for big tech in the day. And I want to pause on this point for a sec. I hope this story, because we hear this a lot, founder, big tech in the day, software engineer that works for, one of these names we talked about in the previous section. But during their own precious personal free time, they are contributing and helping the Palestinian cause. So I'd like those of you who are in a similar situation not to despair. There are other ways to help. You can channel your energy into something that makes a difference, and change takes time. So be patient. We will achieve change one step at a time. So now looking at Paul and Tom. A couple of questions on this project before we move to the next one. You're very anxious to move to the next one, as I'm just as excited. Launching this kind of platform, the platform business model, has a lot more aspects than building the tech, setting up a stable product. This includes addressing, like identifying first users, validate the reliability of the provider. How do you think the founder is handling these issues? Are these on his plan? Has he considered those coming from a technical software engineering background?
So, he is coming from a technical software engineering background, but he's also coming from having a farm in the West Bank. And it was very much the discussion that this was for the West Bank first, and a platform that could also be expanded to other places second. In particular, they view it as this form of samud, this idea of like having resilience, and the particular resilience here is just that it's very, very difficult because of the restrictions that Israel puts on farmers in the West Bank to be able to connect with people who want food. Often people in the West Bank have to resort to going to Israeli supermarkets because they don't know who to connect to. And so it's really like solving a problem that they're experiencing day to day. And I think they will have this working in the West Bank before they start looking at other markets.
Indeed. And I really like the fact that this is so applicable in so many markets, so many countries in the global south, starting from Palestine and expanding. Okay, so Now we can move to the next one, as if you please. And that is Thawra. Thawra means revolution in Arabic, and it's an AI alternative. Yeah, for the simple-minded people like myself, it's just an alternative for ChatGPT or Gemini or a notebook or whatever you use for your daily AI. This is the ethical, decolonized, responsible alternative. And it's not just a tool that mimics, it is just as good. It's not a niche tool, but rather a complete AI platform that rivals the big players. The best thing about it is that Thawra is up and running. You can go ahead and check it on thawra.ai, right? Thawra with a U, not a W. You can also download the Android app from Play Store, and the iOS version will be on the App Store soon. The key distinguisher of this is the ethical side. It does not pry on your privacy, does not use your data to train the model. It does not sell your data to others like all the big techs do and generate massive revenue streams out of this kind of business model. The founders and the product live up to this very powerful Thawra name. You know, everything about these founders speaks revolution, rebels. They're two brothers, Arab, Syrian, refugees, deeply technical, left successful careers in IT to focus on building this product. And they are obsessed with decolonizing tech, providing those ethical, reliable alternatives that don't force you to sacrifice your privacy, as we said. They also aim to inspire other Arab founders to think and to work independently. They want to break free from this reliance on Silicon Valley, whereby this continuous importing of technology or trying to mimic the technology produced by Silicon Valley. They also want to shatter the stereotypes that reduce Middle Easterns and Muslims to camels and deserts. And that explains the logo of a programmer riding a camel, yeah, which I'm a very big fan of. Right, Tom, I'm looking for direction. As our head of engineering, this sounds like it might be too good to be true. Can you tell us about the tech stack? Is it really independent?
You may be muted.
I think you're muted.
All right, Tom, do you hear us? Oh, all right, he's going to try again.
Maybe I can answer that question.
Yeah, go for it.
So it is quite independent. So it's not based on any big tech stuff. It's currently they do use a provider in the US for their inference, which isn't perfect, but that's something that they will move off shortly afterwards. The model they're using is DeepSeek, which is an open source model, and that is the one that they're currently using, and they're using it because of the ethical concerns, including it's a much smaller model, and so as a result of that, it uses a lot less energy, a lot less electricity. They're doing it on like fully green energy, but their intent is to move to more ethical stuff. So they are as ethical as you can possibly be at their size, and as they grow, they'll have the potential to be move out of using a US tech stack, that sort of thing.
It sounds very promising. Looking forward to see that next step. Speaking of next steps, the website is up and running. The apps are done, completed. One is published, the other one is on the way. What's next for Thawra?
So they are brand new. So it's really about getting them in front of people, getting them in front of users. Anyone who is using AI, I just turned off ChatGPT myself. Canceled my account. I use Thera for everything now. You can use it for Claude Code. You can use it for most of the things that you would use AI for, unless you're doing something, very specialized. So really, it's just getting users, getting people to know that it is available. So if you're watching this, head over to Thara.ai and cancel your ChatGPT. You can use this instead.
So that's a call for action for everyone hearing us. Again, Thora.ai, or if you're an Android user, you can go ahead and download the app. I've tried it myself as well. Seamless experience, flawless, and it's one of these convenient things we can just adopt right away and make a difference at the same time. Right. The next one is Palestine support badges. The founder, let's start with the founder on this one, holds a master's degree in software development, and he's combined his passion for free open source software with his support for Palestine, and single-handedly delivered this very useful, easy-to-use project. It's created a fully customizable library of digital support badges, which you see on the screen, the ones on the right-hand side of the slide, and they are available for everyone to use on GitHub. Those are badges that you can use on the website, on personal projects, on your social platform, and it's extremely easy to use. You can copy the image, you can embed it into a website, you can copy the code behind it. Please do try it yourself. I'm sure the team is gonna put the long GitHub URL into the chat, but it's accessible, it's proven, it's stable, it's easy to use. We hope to see you use this tool with ease to amplify support for Palestine in the digital world globally. Now, I think our head of engineering is struggling with the tech today. So, Paul, you're going to have to pick up all my questions, unfortunately.
For sure.
Are we preaching what we practice? Are we using these badges anywhere within T4P?
So T4P had a badges project about a year ago, and we're using, or nearly 2 years ago at this point, that we're using those badges on our project. What we're hoping is that we can merge the two, and we can sort of figure out, what a single perhaps messaging, and like all the projects at T4P, it's not really about the tool, it's about the movement, it's about how can you get people doing this. So the reason that we brought on this project is because no one was really doing anything with our badges, and we needed sort of fresh blood and fresh eyes on it to get this out there. But as we've seen with, for example, the Vercel stuff, there's so much potential now for people to actually step in and start using this stuff. So I expect that we'll be able to get some traction with that, maybe after a couple of product tweaks and sort of like some consolidation of things.
I will certainly start using those in my own slides. Again, for everyone, just check out the GitHub URL in the chat, and you can use the badges yourself right away. Speaking of movements, we move to our fourth project for today, zines or visuals for Palestine. Zines was a new word for me, so if there are other people who are ignorant on the arts like I am, I'll break it down. It's short for fanzine, similar to a magazine, like it's a do-it-yourself publication that usually includes collage or creative reuse of existing print material. Yeah, historically printed, but can also be digital, as you can see on the screen. This project is about bringing data and information into visualizations or zines that raise awareness about Palestine and colonialism. The zines can be used as online resources. You can use them in workshops or by educators as well. Two founders, both artists and also farmers. They're both from Puerto Rico, excuse my Spanish, and they have experienced firsthand the insanity of seeing billions of American tax dollars funded into Israeli atrocities while they see their neighborhood, which is essentially American territory struggling to get basic amenities, including running water and electricity. I've personally never been into Puerto Rico or anywhere near the Caribbean, really, but looking at those zines, I can feel this deep connection with the realities of Palestine. And this, in my view, unique form of art really shows us how much we have in common, despite the distances, despite the differences. This connection between Palestine and South America is something that we have seen on and on this year. Reminds me of a saying I've read recently. I had to write this down to give the credit. This is comedian Amir Rahman. All colonized people see themselves in Palestine, and all colonizers see themselves in Israel. And these zines just scream that. Final question for you, Paul, today. This is a bit beyond what we usually do. How do you think T4P can benefit this project, and how does the zines team fit into the wider T4P project portfolio?
So this is not at all outside T4P. The incubator is about scale, right? It's not about code. It's not necessarily about tech products. Technology is, or the tech movement, at least to me, is always about taking something and like how does it get to millions, tens of millions of people. So this fits well within our taking the message of Palestine to more people who do not currently have reach. You know, we're seeing that we're suppressed on social media, we're suppressed in the news, we're suppressed in politics. Very hard to prevent someone from taking a bunch of zines and dropping them off at the local library, at the local farmers market, outside the local store, handing them out on the street. And so this movement is not really about producing zines. This movement is about getting zines into the hands of activists who can get the message to people who might not otherwise have experienced it.
Thank you. And to build on that, if you want to access some of these zines, you can check out the Instagram channel of this project, as well as all the Discord channels of the projects we've mentioned earlier. The final project on the list for today is Goldfinch, and you are lucky because you don't have to hear my voice anymore about it. We have even someone smarter than I am for sure. Ilsa is going to talk to us about it, and I'll let Azza introduce Ilsa in a second. But before I go, I'm going to remind you, if you have a good idea for a project, please do go to the T4P website and apply. If you think you have the capability, but you need the idea that can be implemented, go to our list of ideas on the website. Plenty of things that you can do, including volunteering, which the rest of the team will talk to you about. Thank you, and over to you, Azza.
Awesome. Thank you. So much cool stuff. I appreciate that, Mohammed, and a lot going on. So really cool. I'm thrilled to welcome Ilsa to the stage to talk about Goldfinch. So a little bit about Ilsa. She lives in Virginia, but she's called many places around the world home, including Brazil, Democratic Republic of Congo, Mauritania. Sorry, I have to say that one really slow. She loves languages. She used to work at Rosetta Stone, and she actually launched their endangered language program. She's currently at Wikipedia Foundation, and in her free time, I'm sure she sounds like she's juggling a lot, but in her free time, you can find her and her partner on a farm that they are currently restoring. And recently they planted tree number 1,000. So how amazing. With that, Ilsa, I will pass it to you to tell us about Goldfinch.
Thank you for the intro, Azza, and thank you all for having me. I use a lot of Tech for Palestine projects in my daily life, and I really hope Goldfinch will become useful to this community too. What is Goldfinch, or what will it be? It's an app that helps us shift our investments and spending away from fueling violence and exploitation. uses the latest research and a friendly interface to screen and guide us in how to shift our habits. And it keeps us motivated with assessments of our individual and collective impact over time. T4P encourages us to think about what our theory of change is. So what is our theory of change for Goldfinch? We think most people don't want their investments profiting from or their spending funding genocide, occupation, and other horrors. But with globalization, the complexity of modern business, connecting the dots can be obscured and complex. So we think lack of action is due to lack of information, lack of time to research, unclear steps to take, as opposed to intent. And so the thinking is, if Goldfinch makes screening your investments and spending easy, people will shift their money at scale and shift capital away from violence and occupation towards a more just world for Palestine and beyond, helping the dominoes fall, as Paul put it. So where to start in building this? What I settled on for a minimum viable product is an app that helps you evaluate your workplace investment account options against the values that you care about and helps you get them more aligned. And the rationale for focusing on workplace retirement accounts rather than daily spending, for example, means larger amounts of money and so a bigger impact sooner. And also because it's relatively low effort for people. You can shift your retirement account as an individual on an account website any moment with or without a financial advisor. And so it should be able to offer us end-to-end validation of that theory of change early on. So some quick background. In the US, instead of a pension, workplaces offer retirement plans in the form of an investment account where the employee chooses to distribute it among mutual funds that are based on the stock market. On the top left here is the typical info you get for choosing among your options. And it's just, it gives you kind of high level financial performance. Some related personal background, you can stay on that slide a bit longer. Last year, I left my job, incidentally, because they took on a drone R&D client. So I needed to roll over my retirement. I had some time to research the funds to see what they were composed of and what kind of impact they were having. It was really eye-opening and disturbing to find that some of the funds that I had chosen for social responsibility were profiting from state violence and occupation. And it also seemed like a huge opportunity to shift things by sharing my learnings. And I worked with a financial advisor who became interested as well. We shared about it in our networks. We gave a webinar, but most people that we spoke to ended up getting bogged down by the complexity of doing it themselves. So for the MVP of Goldfinch, I wanted a way to simplify it for others and make it easier for them to be aware and shift. So getting off the ground, I don't have software development experience myself. And so when I joined the incubator a month ago, I thought I would start by recruiting software engineering volunteers. But in office hours, I was encouraged to get a prototype going myself and leverage some of the new tools available. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been experimenting with Replit, and I have an MVP almost ready to release to you all. And I have a quick demo to share here. Here's one page of the app. It's the first step a user sees in evaluating their retirement plan. You can input your funds manually or upload a CSV. And then step 2, choosing the screens that you'd like to use in evaluating your funds. Right now I'm pulling the screening data from 2 sources, but there are others we could bring in, or maybe people would rather have things more synthesized for them. We can see what the feedback comes in as. Step 3, here are the results of the screen. Each row here is a fund option highlighted according to its score. You can hover over a value and see which companies are contributing to a bad score. There are also measures of financial performance you can look at. And then on the right, you can remove funds, adjust the proportions, and improve your overall score. And on the next slide, here are the results after a user has cut the most offensive funds out and chosen their allocations. But we didn't want to stop there, just informing the user. We wanted to empower them through actually making those changes. So for the final step here, the app handholds the user, gives them tailored step-by-step instructions, even prompting them with the login link to their account. And this is where the MVP is at. I have some remaining work on the data pipelines and negotiating with the financial data provider. And then I want to share it with you all for feedback and testing. In terms of what's next, this is like a tentative roadmap, but it will really be determined by the learnings from the MVP. Some potential next steps are a pro version for financial advisors, which would hopefully multiply the impact, and then a module for screening your credit card statements and receipts. And that's where we are. On the next slide, I have info for anyone who's interested in collaborating, knowledge sharing, or joining forces. There is a Discord channel you can join, and stay tuned for calls for help, or just reach out. Thank you.
This is amazing, Ilse. Thank you. These are like the kind of tools we need to just take back control of something that's so powerful that we have, our money. So I love these projects. Thank you. I will pause really quickly. I know we're kind of short on time, but are there any questions for Ilse from the different chats, or are we going to answer them in the chats, it seems? Okay. So if you do want to know more, please join the Discord, and yeah, it looks like there's some volunteers that are needed. So we'll hopefully get you some good folks there. Thank you, Ilse. All right. So with that, we just have a couple more slides here that we're going to talk about. You've heard about amazing projects. There is lots of help all these projects need. Like, everyone's mentioned, these are projects people are doing on their own time. And so please do consider helping. I'm just going to call out a few kind of urgent ones, but we have so many opportunities, and I'll tell you more about how you can find all of those. Gaza Tech Mentorship. So this is a great initiative supporting graduating students in the technical field in Gaza, helping them just finish the final step needed, and they really need technical mentors. They're looking for people that have web and mobile app experience, AI data. If you have capstone project experience, that's also super helpful. But if you're interested, we're going to drop a link in the chat. You could also find it on our website. Please consider spending, if you're qualified, please consider spending a couple hours a week helping someone finish their project and getting them launched into the workforce. Social media, this is something, and you're probably sick of me talking about it, but as we continue to increase projects and just given the world we live in today, social media is such a critical part of almost every single project we touch. And so if you have these skills, especially if you have Arabic speaking skills, although that is not a requirement for all of our projects, it is for some. But if you have skills, no matter what range of skills, whether it's generalist, if it's limited to one platform, or it's a range of skills, we really need help across the board when it comes to things like social media and digital marketing. So please consider checking out, both all the different opportunities we have to see if there's anything interesting that calls to you. And also, if not, just submit a volunteer application form just so we have your information on file. And as soon as we find something that is well aligned to your skill set, we will contact you. But I suspect if you have these skills, we'll put you to use really, really quickly. We talked a little bit about Apricot earlier, so we're also looking for people to help us tell the Apricot talent story. We're looking for a writer blogger. You'll be working closely with our lead SEO expert who's from Gaza, and just to help shape and craft the story so we can get the word out to everyone. There's a really powerful story about the talent that exists both in Palestine and other regions that have been impacted with conflict and all kinds of madness. And so someone that can help us tell their story and get more folks to consider hiring, that's what the Apricot team is looking for. Wasla Connect, here's another really beautiful project dedicated to also empowering displaced Palestinians. They help them get essential technical skills, mentorships, and provide them opportunities to just get on a path to independence and making them more accessible to others in the marketplace. So if this is an area that you're passionate about or can help and you have experience with events, the team would love your help, especially if you're based in the Bay Area, Chicago, or DC. It's not a requirement, but if you are based there, it will make things easier. They have a lot of key donors and influencers and senior folks that they know in those areas. And so those are markets where they think they have a lot of opportunity to expand their fundraising efforts. Tech for Palestine, we're looking for some U.S. country leads. As we continue to grow, we need to continue to reach out and build our alliance with local organizations. We are looking for some respected people that can represent the T4P brand, can help mobilize and connect with local communities. So this is someone that is really good and skilled at building relationships, building partnerships, compelling folks to join our cause and really magnify our efforts. So if this is something that you think you'd be good at, we're looking for a lead both West Coast and East Coast. It would require actually going out into the community and potentially meeting with people. So think about that. If it's something you're interested in helping us with, please let us know. And, you know, why volunteer? Like I said earlier, for starters, we have amazing projects. You could be a part of bringing this to life. You could work with really amazing people and do something meaningful in terms of driving change that is long-term and hopefully just keep magnifying our efforts. A couple of upcoming events that I'll talk about. We're really excited. T4P is going to host the first community gathering at Palestine House in London on November 8th. It's a full day event. Thanks to our volunteers out there that are going to be helping us with this or have helped us with this. It's a big lift for us, but we're super excited and tickets are available. So please buy your ticket as well. If you haven't, consider joining us. If you haven't already submitted your volunteer application form, now's the time to do so. If you have the time and it's something you can do, we'd appreciate it. The other way, if you have the means and it's something you're interested in, we accept donations. I know everyone's in different places around this. And so it's something we'll put out there. Donations go directly into helping our projects and magnifying our efforts and taking care of basic things like just license fees and subscription fees. This is all stuff that our project leaders come out of pocket for. And so that's how the money's being used. If it's something you could do, no matter how small, think about it. We would certainly appreciate it. Discord, 9,000 and growing. So thank you. Get the word out. We'd like to make that 90,000. Several ways you guys can follow us. So we'll have these. Please do. That also amplifies our efforts and gets the word out about what we're doing. And just real quick before I drop, if you have to drop, I understand, but I just want to remind people we dropped a survey. If you guys have feedback for us, we'd really appreciate it. We do these events for you and we want to make sure they're valuable, and we're totally open to honest feedback. So let us know what's useful, what can be useful, in the future. I also want to thank the community team. There is such a big lift to putting stuff like this on, and it's a little bit chaotic behind the scenes with chasing people, and we give them some words and they turn it into really beautiful slides. So there's that aspect. There's the logistics. So Sadia, Mar, Mary, Hussam, thank you so much for all you guys do behind the scenes. And thanks to all of you guys for being here, for showing up, and for supporting us. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.